Good morning, everyone. As Guru mentioned, I want to spend the next 45 minutes to discuss and share with you really how employee referral is changing and transforming because of social media technologies and to some degree the mobile technologies, which are in most cases now tightly integrated with social media technologies. And one of the things when you look at referrals, I want to put some context, broad industry context and market context of how companies are looking at employee referrals and effectively your talent competitors are looking at employee referral and how important or critical they feel it is. How the definition of employee referral itself is expanding because ultimately employee referral is a subset of the social network of typically your employees, but there is no reason why through technology that can be extended out. So, and then towards the second half of the webinar, I'd like to get into some actual implementations and executions that are being done by customers. So this is a finding of a survey that was done, and the respondents were about 3,300 talent acquisition leaders around the world. And they were asked basically what were the 5 key trends that they believe is shaping recruitment over the coming years, and how would that determine their budgets and their strategy and focus. And not surprisingly, right on top of the list is social professional networks. And the issue is not can I get more candidates, it's really about it's a source of quality candidates. And I think that's really where the focus is. I think most companies that have a good brand name, the challenge isn't to find a person. The challenge is to find the right person and a high quality person. And right below that is employer branding. And in some way, because of the social media, employer branding, employer referral, what we call extended referral, where we are working with a customer where we are extending uh, referral mechanisms to ex-alumni, and even, as I will share with you, to every candidate who's getting into the recruitment funnel. And employer branding to large degree impacts both your employee's comfort about referring somebody and vice versa when your employee extends out a referral request for the friend to feel comfortable to say, yeah, this is a company or a corporation I should give a thought to. Based on the same, when the talent leaders were asked what their priorities are, and so our peers list, if you look at, improving quality of hire is the number 1 priority globally, and I think it's almost 10% higher in India. And I think we all of us have faced that, but we are constantly trying to figure out how not just it's not about just getting resumes, which we can get from various traditional marketing efforts. It's how do we get to the best quality. And the next one, where if you look at point number 3, that's where you see a big delta between the rest of the world and India. For India, improving employee referral, trying to come up with a better way to more efficiently execute employee referral is a significant priority. Rest of the world, it's not, and there are some good reasons. Employee referral, at least in uh, Europe and the Americas, is a relatively big source of referrals. And so the delta for them is very little. And it's not because it's a lower priority, it's just that it's a very mature platform in these countries. Uh, couple of, about maybe 12, 18 months ago, I always used to be asked, so how real is Facebook for hiring? How is that going to play an important role? And again, I'll share with you some hard facts, and probably starting with the one you see on the slide. Uh, these same hiring leaders recognize that the top 10 long lasting trends on the top of the list globally and in India is utilizing the social and professional network, followed by improving employer branding, followed by boosting referral programs. And as you can see, it's not just about referral programs of your employees. I think where technology is moving and where some of the pioneering companies are seeing uh, quality candidates come in, it goes beyond your employees. And the key is to have a technology platform that can very effectively manage through obtaining referrals from employees, obtaining referrals from alumni, obtaining referrals from candidate, and put the right control mechanisms in place so that it's an effective tool. Uh, when companies were again asked what is the top 10 most important places to find quality hires, not surprising, employee referral leads the pack, which we probably all know and experience. Interestingly, the biggest delta was in social professional networks. And just in the last probably 3 days, there have some very interesting facts emerged. First of all, a recent survey uh, by JobWide, basically more people found job through Facebook than LinkedIn. And again, there is a lot of the reason being there are just far more number of people on Facebook than on LinkedIn, and especially as you get to about a 20 to about 27, 28 year segment. And in many cases, most of the talent in this segment doesn't even have a very robust LinkedIn network, but they have a very good, robust Facebook network, and that's where technologies like MyParichay allow them to extract the professional value that is sitting in their Facebook network. So the second fact, Facebook 2 days ago basically now allows an individual to add professional skills in your profile. And that again will allow you to not only be able to search by name, location, college, etc., job title, but you can now get down to uh, skill level and do searches. And some of those you can see how we have taken basically Facebook is effectively the underlying platform, the employee referral tools and technologies that you'll see right on top of it. So I'm going to get through some of these slides quickly. This is again another fact, and this is a little bit dated information, but the bottom line is, even in India today, if you look at the prime hiring age segment, this number is now close to about 55 million. There are about 55 million profiles that are just not available either on a job board or on LinkedIn. And then if you have to tap into that network, uh, and if you have to tap into that talent, you really have to have a platform that integrates Facebook, LinkedIn, and gives you the maximum reach and gives your employees and the candidate the best reach into an organization. 6 out of 10 job seekers don't have LinkedIn. And so there is more than half the talent, especially in the 2027 segment, does not have a LinkedIn account. Um, I'm going to skip through this. This is an interesting data. This was out of Carnegie Mellon study that was done this year. So one of the elements about referrals, it's not just, okay, I can get a list of people to refer. I think what's more important is to understand or tell the employee or tell your candidates coming to your Facebook page or whichever way they are communicating to your platform. For example, if you post a job on Shine, if one of the candidates comes to that job, I think it's meaningful to show him uh, connections inside your company, effectively people who can refer this candidate, and putting some more intelligence to it to figure out who is most likely to refer this person. And again, not surprising that friends and family are the ones that you can probably impose more and they'll feel more obligated to refer you. And simultaneously, we have technology where we try to capture it's not just a matter of closeness, it's even a matter of your capacity to help. So we are building technologies where, from a referral point of view, we want to make sure we are able to capture the closeness and capture the capacity of the person to help as it relates to the particular job. So employee referrals is not new. It's at least thousands of years old, and Julius Caesar used it very effectively as he expanded his empire by asking his soldiers to bring in more soldiers. Um, this was a comment in New York Times, and I think we all know that referrals matter. And both whether you are looking for a job or you're an employee looking for a candidate. But the fundamental shift that's happening is that social network of your own employees are becoming a lot more publicly available, whether you like it or not. And so how do we build technologies that gives you a competitive edge to tap into that network versus your competitor that maybe 5 years ago didn't have access to that network? Today, your competitors have access to, or you have your competitors' employees access to their social network for talent. And I'll share with you the technology that where you can see that actually being implemented. Employee referral is popular, again, for two simple reasons. It's very efficient on all kinds of recruitment metrics that you can look at. And whether it's time to hire, conversion ratios, etc. And the quality is significantly better than you will get from traditional routes. So companies are always trying to figure out how to improve on this, how to invest in this. And I think this was a survey, I think, with People Matter magazine in 2012. It's not surprising that most companies are planning to increase their investment in employee referrals and social networks. Now, employee referrals are great, but when you look at improving it, you're really looking at two sets of challenges. From HR and recruitment department's point of view, the challenges are really about automation. How can I automate this process so that right from collection of referral information to a resume, flowing it through the recruiter, through the organization, keeping various stakeholders informed is a challenge. And that's really automation, and how do we improve on it. The second is the motivation part. The fact that how do you design an effective program? How do you manage the motivation of your employees to make sure people are constantly coming, taking the time and effort to refer their friends, staying engaged with the program, managing the award system, etc. And again, in the traditional employee referral technology or process, an employee sees returns on their referral efforts in very, very long cycles, which ultimately challenges the employee to stay engaged. So, for example, if an employee refers a candidate, depending on the skill level, etc., the candidate goes through a series of interview rounds, may get rejected at some point, or at some point candidate may drop off, and then you extend an offer, then there is a waiting period, then you have your own cooling period to the candidate to stay, and then the person sees some kind of a monetary reward. Now, that could be a long cycle, 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even 9 months. So when you look at the platform that the social technologies that I'll share with you, effectively try to address both these issues. How do you reduce the friction for a candidate to find somebody who can refer them, to an employee finding somebody to refer, staying communicated, and then having various kinds of gamification mechanisms that an employee can feel motivated and can see some short-term rewards without having to wait for their friend to start and stay, because there are many employees who take the time and effort, and their candidate may end up going to the third round of interview and get rejected or drop off. But the employee has put in effort, and I think it's up to us to make sure that we keep that person motivated enough to continue referring. So those are the two areas. And then from an employee's perspective, I think these are some of the standard ones that I share. Where are the jobs? Who on my network I can refer? You know, it has to be fun. It's complicated, and frustrated with long gratification cycles. So that's a quick backdrop on the employee referral platform, and how what I'll share with you now is how social media is now basically getting intertwined with referral systems, whether employee or what we call extended referrals. So let me start with um, shine.com. And if you look at in a traditional world, in a job board, you can go post a job, and candidates that are coming in can search for a job and apply. And that's where it ends and starts and stops. Now, here is where things are different. So if now you have posted a job, the difference here is that when a candidate comes here, they can apply, obviously, but the interesting part is they can now look for friends within IBM in this case and see if there is someone they can either get referred through, or if nothing else, it creates a higher level of connectivity with the person. And the fact that I can maybe know a little bit more about the job, about the company, gives you an edge to attract the right talent. And obviously, you can refer a friend. So here, a candidate can come and maybe look at a job and may feel this is not a job I want, but I know somebody I can refer. And there are built-in reward systems and gamification systems in the platform. So every time somebody refers, they accrue 5 points, and if the person they have referred accepts it, then they get 250 points. And then depending on what other filters you want to put in, you can put those filters in there. But effectively, you have now taken the traffic that you will get on a traditional job board, and you are now capturing that traffic and trying to generate referrals out of it, trying to get that candidate connected to an employee or an employee's friend, uh, on the employee's friend within the company. So this is what would happen. A candidate comes in, he wants to or she wants to apply through a friend. They go through a login process. Now, MyParichay is going to go look through the Facebook and the LinkedIn network of this person and start showing friends and friends of friends that they can get themselves referred into the organization. Now, in this case, Chintan is not my friend, but I am connected to Chintan through Nisarg on Facebook, and I can ask Nisarg for an introduction. And when I click on that, we basically ask for some specific information that will help to create a better information to the person who is receiving the information on Facebook. And let's say I'm just going to put some information here, and it asks for a verification, and I hit continue. And at this point, it will give me a Facebook dialog where the job is already there, and I can add some additional message. And at this point, Nisarg will get his message icon on Facebook on his mobile, and his desktop will light up. And Nisarg will basically get an information that will say something to this effect, that XYZ is interested in a job at your company. And let me quickly share what that message will look like. I've actually gone ahead and send a message to myself. And it will look something like this to Nisarg. Nisarg will get a message that will be something of this nature. And when Nisarg would click on it, it will basically say, Ranjan Sinha would like to discuss a job opening at your company. And this can happen on a mobile device or Facebook. My resume is there. working at IBM Global Services. I want to see the detailed job description. That's down here. So at this point, I can either get referred or introduced, or so that's in a way where you're looking at referrals and you have taken a very traditional platform like a job board, and now you are capturing referral traffic out of that. The same experience of generating referrals and creating higher connection with your employees can be extended onto the Facebook page of a company. So now this is a career page for IBM, and this particular tab is again powered by MyParichay, where the job that you post from the back end gets posted on Shine, or if you post it on Shine, gets posted onto the Facebook page. So they are very tightly integrated. And here are a bunch of jobs that the same jobs that you saw on the job board is now available on Facebook. So now you're capturing the beyond the traffic that you got on web traffic on Shine, you can now leverage not only the traffic but the targeting that's available on Facebook. So now I could click on this particular job and hold on a second. So as you can see, you see a very similar experience. In this case, I'm already on Facebook. It brings up a bunch of folks that I can get connected to, get introduced, or directly apply through. And they have Facebook friends, and then as I go down below, I have LinkedIn friends. And it gives me a, normally there may be companies where you necessarily may or may not have such a large set of friends. I can directly apply, I can refer a friend. And so it becomes a way where your web traffic, Facebook traffic, you're leveraging all that for referrals. Now, let me go back to the intranet of an organization. So in this case, this is effectively the intranet of an organization. And what you see here is where an employee would go in, click, and if they want to use an intranet, not their Facebook, they can log in here and refer friends and candidates. What you see here are these points, and these are basically what we call leaderboard points, referral leaderboards. So what happens is when you set up this platform, at the time of setup, you can define your recruitment funnel. It's very relatively simple to do that. And you can assign different points for different stages of the funnel. So if your employee has referred a friend of theirs, and as they reach certain milestones in your funnel, the employee will accrue these points. And it's a way to keep the employee base engaged. And these referrals, these leaderboard information is shared by the rest of the organization. And at the same time, most organizations would run various kinds of reward mechanisms where if you accrue X number of points, you can get a t-shirt, mug, maybe you can get a half day off or a full day off, or there are organizations that will say we'll donate money to a charity of your cause. So there are various ways to keep your employee base engaged towards getting them to find the best talent they have in their social professional network and refer them to you. So I'll skip through what an employee needs to do because it's relatively simple. They go in, they put their username, password, and there is a bunch of fields where they can basically type in the name of the person, cell number, attach a resume, and if they don't attach a resume, their friend will receive a Facebook message and an email saying Ranjan wants to refer you to a job. What I'd like to show is the back-end experience that the recruiter gets, where what you will see is what you will see is the power of employee referral, not just from a gamification motivation point of view, but how you can take each referral that is coming in and from there drill down into additional referrals from the candidate. So this is again just standard bunch of jobs open. there are various candidates who have been either referred for this job or have come from Facebook, and the system will tell you where they have come from. And so let's say as a recruiter, I click on this, and it will go in, pull up all the responses I have got, whether through employee referrals, extended referrals, whether from Shine or my Facebook page, and effectively uh, categorize them for me. And so what you see here is a bunch of respondents. Obviously, you have employer, etc. You see the point system. Now, when you see an icon like this, Rahul Rao, for example, beyond the regular ATS-like functions of managing status or moving the applicant to other job, so maybe a recruiter sees a candidate and realizes this person may be a fit for a different job, our system will track that and make sure the employee gets the referral. But one of the most interesting, compelling parts of this is that I can go in and now search for Rahul's network. So when I click on it, MyParichay is now going to go look for Rahul's network, and there are about 1,217 folks that are in this person's network. Now I can go ahead, and I'm not sure what this job was for. Hold on a second. This was a job, it says Google. Not sure what that was. What's the, but so let's say I want to go and see, I'm looking for some sales folks in Rahul's. So now what I see is I have 3 sales executives that are in Rahul's network. And I can go ahead and I can save Shravan, or I can go ahead and send a message to Shravan on Facebook. Now, I am logged in as a super recruiter in this case, so it doesn't pick up the job, but as a specific recruiter, this message box will automatically get populated with the job ID and the job link and a default message. So now I have not only received Rahul as a referral, I can now drill through Rahul's network for additional candidate referral opportunity. So I'll give you another example. In this case, again, I have a candidate. I have 541 candidates. And let's say I'm looking for people with some, these are junior positions. I'm looking for people with software experience. I can click on it, and I have 17 folks that have they are software engineers. And I can, again, if you look at, now I have gone into Magline's network. I see Roy. I can send Roy a message. But the interesting part is now I can go further into Roy's network and see if there are more software folks in Roy's network. So there is 4,270 Roy's friends and Roy's friend's friend. So I can again go in and spare for a second. My computer is a little slow here. Okay. And then there are things where you can not only look for software folks, but you can actually limit it by companies, etc. So in any case, I can keep drilling down one after the other into different people's networks. So now, as you can see, I think my computer is not sure what's going on. My computer, okay, maybe this will work now. Okay. And then on the employee referral backend, if you have somebody like Martha whose network access I don't have, the recruiter can very easily go and say, invite that candidate onto MyParichay. There's a standard email template that will come up, and it will send a note to, the recruiter will send a note to Martha saying if she's interested in joining this recruiter, on MyParichay, and moment Martha joins, the recruiter will get a notification that Martha's network is now accessible to the recruiter. So I'll give you some facts. We are, and this is information from one of the big four companies that is.
We might have some.
A what?
Sorry, we might have some audio issues. I guess we're hearing that some of you cannot hear us. Just bear with us a second. Just.
Why don't we do this, Guru? I think uh, we are about 15-20 minutes left.
Right.
Why don't we just try to wrap up and then see? I'll look at some of the questions and we can try to answer those.
Sure.
And at this point, I'd like to wrap up, especially if the audio quality isn't good. If you let's go through some of the questions, and please in the chat box, please feel free to send questions that you may have. We can't hear.
No. Well. We have complete signal, so not a reception issue. So, would you want to take some questions?
Yeah. Why don't we just take some questions?
Okay, so Ranjan, we have one question here on companies who believe that is Facebook and opening up to Facebook is a concern at companies. How do they go find a way around that? And how does mobile technology work with that? How can my mobile technology assist that?
Well, again, I think, as I said, the one of the big shifts because of Facebook and LinkedIn and mobile technologies, that most of these social media technologies are now easily available on these devices. The access to your employees and their network is become very public. Whether you like it or not, your employees are on Facebook. They are already on LinkedIn, most likely. And today, even if you limit Facebook access on the desktop, most people are accessing Facebook on a mobile device. So at the end of the day, it is kind of a losing proposition. And so effectively, the key is to uh, not worry about and manage it provide the access in a managed way, but more importantly, make sure that you are not at a disadvantage compared to your competitors who will have access to your employees.